knows? I don't know how many of you guys have kids or still play Madden or have kids that play Madden or not. But, like, I came downstairs a couple days ago when we got back from Atlanta, and my kids play a lot of Madden. They play a lot of Minecraft. They play a lot of Fortnite, normal games, I would say, that young kids are playing on a regular basis. And my fourth grader was playing, and he had created his own team. And it's definitely a, hey, you're doing a good job as a dad moment when you walk in and your son has made you, meaning me, the dad, the quarterback on his team to go along with his brothers and his friends from school that he's named and put on the team and selected, their image and their numbers and everything else. So I was like, that was pretty cool. We were actually having a conversation as I was sitting there watching. By the way, threw for 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, most recent game in his season. No big deal, but Dad's on fire in Madden. And I hadn't, I don't play video games anymore. I obviously grew up playing them, but I got so busy and the games got more complicated. And every now and then I'll sit down, I'll play one of my kids, and they just roast me. But by and large, I don't play very many video games at all anymore. And so we're sitting there, and I'm watching him play, and I said, has a new version of Madden come out yet? Because there were, new free agent signings. I think it was right after Jadeveon Clowney announced that he was going to be playing with the Titans, and I was like, where's Jadeveon Clowney going to rate? And my kids basically use the Madden rating system to rate everything in their life. And for those of you who don't know, every player is rated a 99 as the best possible player. So if you're sitting around and you're like, hey, where do you want to go eat food, tonight? One of my kids might be like, I want to go to Zaxby's because they're a 99 on chicken tenders, or what do you want to do for pizza? I want to go, I want to get, and I shouldn't even, I'm just giving shout outs here to different fast food restaurants. And my kids are like, I want Papa John's because they're a 99 on pizza or whatever. Different kids have different favorite pizza places, whatever else. But the point is, the Madden rankings have become so popular in their life that they will translate it into whatever is going on in their world, with good or bad, 99 obviously being the peak. So, by and large, I think video games have tried to stay out of this woke monstrosity that we're in the middle of right now, where every athlete and every coach and everybody's got to be talking about, how serious the world is all the time. The world's an awful place, and we've got to make sure that sports is a prism to reflect that awfulness. And I saw an interesting data point from Mike Mulvihill, who is one of the smartest people working at Fox Sports, and they did a survey of NFL fans, and they were like, hey, what is the most important to you about the return of the NFL? And 90% of NFL fans said they viewed sports as an escape from the real world. I saw that data point, and I was like, wow, that is a pretty remarkably high number. But it doesn't surprise me because I think it speaks to most people in the world that sports is their escape. That was the word they used. It is an escape from the real world. And I thought it was such an interesting survey result. 90% said it will take their mind off of the coronavirus to have sports back and be able to watch it. 90% said it will take their mind off of serious things. And I wonder if sports leagues actually look at this data. Because to me, what sports leagues are doing is they are losing that primary goal of their audience, which is to escape the serious things in life. People watch sports like they eat dessert for a meal. It is their escape. You do everything you need in your life. You pay your mortgage. You go to work. You do all of the serious things in your life so you can sit back and watch a game and be able to eat your dessert. You got kids, you tell them they got to eat their broccoli, they got to eat their vegetables before they get their ice cream or before they get their pie, right? Or cookies, whatever you're giving them as a dessert if you are. You got to get through the serious things in life to get to dessert. Sports is a dessert. Video games are a dessert. And I keep looking at things and saying, my God, sports are losing their mind over what a tiny segment of their population wants on social media. And in particular, this Madden decision, if you didn't hear about it, goes right to the essence of this. Madden has decided after 4 years of absence to put Colin Kaepernick into their video game. That's despite the fact that Colin Kaepernick lost his job to Blaine Gabbert, decided not to play, has had really no interest because he hasn't been very good in a long time. 4 years ago, when he was in the video game, he had a rating of 76. Bowing to the woke community, Madden has decided to put Colin Kaepernick into the video game. And despite the fact that he hasn't played in 4 years, they made him an 81 overall rating on their game. All right? So despite not playing in the game for 4 years, his overall quality of play at quarterback went up 5 points. And if you're out there and you're like, okay, what does that matter? Well, Madden obsessively rates players, and players are always arguing about whether or not they are better than their rating would actually reflect. Madden now has what is, I think, one of the most ridiculous, absurd decisions in the history of video games, which is saying something here, has a higher rating, Colin Kaepernick does, than 16 starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now. All right, I want you to think about this. He hasn't played in 4 years, and Colin Kaepernick is higher rated than Tyrod Taylor, Dwayne Haskins, Gardner Minshew, Drew Lock, Mitch Trubisky, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Teddy Bridgewater, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Cam Newton, Derek Carr, and Ryan Tannehill. He is the exact same rating as Ben Roethlisberger. This is pretty crazy. And this is a perfect example of the woke virus spreading across sports, where now you have an absolutely ridiculous situation where you are saying Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't played in the NFL in 4 years, is better than Cam Newton, better than Derek Carr, better than Josh Allen, better than Ryan Tannehill, better than Jared Goff, better than Kyler Murray, Teddy Bridgewater, all these guys, Sam Darnold, who actually had, a lot of them, pretty decent games during the course of the season. Do you still play Madden, Danny G? And how ridiculous is this total kneeling in the direction of losers on social media who are obsessed with a guy who isn't good enough to be a starter in the NFL, let's be honest, and certainly isn't good enough to be better than half of the starters in the NFL? This is just blatant dishonesty, more and more of which we're seeing happen in the world of sports on a daily basis.
Yeah, I actually do play Madden. It's the only video game that I play. I play it weekly. I learned my lesson. I played against my little brother last year, and he just whooped up on me because I hadn't played in a while. And I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm going to be ready for Thanksgiving when my family gets together. I'm going to be ready for him. But yeah, as far as what you're saying, I don't have a problem with Kaepernick being available in the game, but the rating thing is so ridiculous.
The rating, for people out there who don't realize, like, the rating is a big deal. That's what basically gives Madden its truth and honesty with video game players, right? Is trying to assess the overall value of a player and rating them accurately compared to other players at their position.
Well, and players take it very personal.
Yes.
We talked Hard Knocks last segment. Speaking of that show, remember on the Raiders Hard Knocks, they were out there on the practice field in Napa talking to the players.
They all know what their rating is.
About their rating and who do you think on the team deserves a higher rating. And this is something that the players all talk about amongst themselves.
Yeah. So as a gamer, this is just utterly ridiculous. And the thing is, I don't think there are that many people who care, but it's one thing if you want to put him in the game, whatever, but to rate him higher than half of the NFL starters, it's propaganda. It's just blatant, dishonest propaganda, which to me is occurring more and more regularly in sports. Dub, you're the youngest person on the show. I bet you still play Madden, or at least have played Madden somewhat regularly. How ridiculous is this?
Yeah, I do still play Madden. I bought last year's game. I'm going to buy this year's game. But the whole rated higher than 16 starting quarterbacks is actually blows my mind, because you've mentioned it. Danny G just mentioned it. They take this rating thing very seriously. They have Madden rating experts at literally every single game on Sunday, watching the games, talking to players.
And they adjust during the season, right? So if Joe Burrow comes out and he's gangbuster in the first 4 games of the season, the updates will allow Joe Burrow to be substantially better. And I use Burrow as an example because we haven't seen him start an NFL game. So if he comes out and he looks like he's going to be all world, suddenly his numbers will go up substantially.
Right. And the one player that, it just makes me laugh, having Colin Kaepernick rated higher than Kyler Murray.
It's crazy.
Just say that out loud to yourself and just really think about it. It's actually ridiculous.
There isn't a single NFL team that would make the choice, I believe, to switch out their starter that is rated below Colin Kaepernick for Colin Kaepernick. Otherwise, he would be in the league. And it's crazy that we've reached this point where much of sports is dishonest propaganda. Eddie Garcia, I don't know if you still play the game at all, but I bet you play NHL still. But this is crazy, right?
Yeah, I grew up with the creation of video games. I remember playing Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all those games, and I remember throwing all those quarters into the machines when I was a kid. I still play video games. You're right. I do play the NHL game. I've never been a fan of the Madden game, although I loved the college football game. If that came back, I would buy it in an instant.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who still miss that.
Yes, and I would play it all the time.
I do think there's a chance that they will bring that back in the next couple of years and start to have a yearly version of the college football game again.
Yeah, I still play the old one, actually. That was a
lot of people still play the old one. And I think, frankly, a lot of kids out there would love to be able to play the game and have their own, because they ended up killing it because it was a violation of NCAA rules over the lawsuit because of the name, image, and likeness. But I feel like almost every kid playing who signs a scholarship would love for there to be his name on a video game like that. So I don't know where the opposition would come from in the world of college athletics to allow that game to exist again.
As far as Madden, and I haven't played it in a long time, but Roberto has told me that EA Sports doesn't have the tag, if it's in the game, it's in the game anymore. Although it would not shock me, frankly, if they did have players kneeling for the anthem in the game. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they decided to do that, because they try and make it as realistic as possible. And I did joke that, is there a kneel button? Could Kaepernick kneel before the game? But no, the rating is absurd. And him being in the game, I think, is ridiculous as well.
But shouldn't somebody, if you're going to be arguing that this video game is an accurate reflection of real life, this isn't an accurate reflection of real life in any way. It's blatant propaganda. And it's one thing if you want to put him in the game and make him, rated down near the bottom of starters in the NFL. Right now, could Colin Kaepernick and Dwayne Haskins be somewhat similar? Okay. He hasn't played in 4 years. So I would think that his overall quality, but the fact that you would bump him up 5 points from the last time he was in the game and he hasn't played in 4 years it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen, and it just speaks to the fundamental dishonesty in the way that this is being covered. What about you, Roberto? You still play?
Yeah, I try to play from time to time. Try to get time to play in there whenever I can. But with the 5-year-old at home, is kind of hard sometimes.
Several people want to weigh in. Fred in Florida is on the Outkick VIP. Fred, what you got for me?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
It's funny Eddie Garcia just said that. I run a Madden league, and it's been with my college friends, for almost 15 years now. And one of them picked up Kaepernick, and every play I was wondering what he was doing, and he was actually taking a knee. So, but I can't believe they put that in there. Like I said, put him at a lower rating. I understand that, but what does that mean for like games like NBA 2K? Are they going to put who's the gentleman in the '90s that wouldn't stand for the anthem? Was it Sharif Abdul-Rahim? Are they going to bring him back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are they going to bring him in and put him at a 99 like LeBron? I mean, when is this going to stop? And quite frankly, overall, when these games come out, the leagues I run, everyone is in a rush to join. But this year, actually, the interest has been down. Everyone's like, I'm going to pass. And even in like the 2K, my park, they have they sell Black Lives Matter T-shirts and everything in the park. So they're still profiting off of this because you have to spend your VC points on it. So in a way, it's kind of so everyone's kind of using this for their own agenda, I think, which is takes away from whatever you believe and everything. Thank you guys. Love the show.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for being a VIP. I just got to say, I mean, it feels just so blatant to be propaganda that you would rate this guy above half the starters. I mean, there's just no other way at all to justify it. And I mean, this is just, I mean, it's fundamentally dishonest on like basically every level you can possibly imagine. We'll take your calls on this, 877-996-6369. Some people can be like, oh, it shouldn't matter. But to me, it's just evidence of blatant sports propaganda. They are spreading a fundamental dishonesty, which is that Colin Kaepernick is better than half the starters in the NFL. And you can say, oh, it's just a cheap marketing ploy. But, you know, marketing ploys, at least in some way, should have honesty associated with them. This is fundamentally dishonest. And frankly, I usually buy the Madden video game for my kids, the update. I don't want to do it this year. If they beg me, I'll probably end up relenting and doing it. But there's not that much difference between the 20 and the 21 versions of the game. I'll probably, if I can, not buy it if my kids don't ask for it. I mean, it's literally something that would lead to me not spending my money. And I can't imagine there's any parents out there that are like, all right, thank God Colin Kaepernick's in the game now. Here's $60. I would think there are a lot of parents like me that are like, we'll just play with the 20 version. A lot of people want to weigh in. Let's go to Laura in Arkansas on the Outkick VIP line. Thanks for being a VIP. Laura, what you got for me?
What's up? It's Lauren. That's okay.
Lauren.
Common mistake.
Yes.
Clay, you're sending me over the edge with this. I have a 14 and a 12-year-old boy. I've grown up, like, coaching them, all their sports. They love Madden. They love all this stuff. And this Kaepernick stuff they're going to put him in, he's not on a team. He's not on a team. They'd be like, hey, Lauren, you were really good at soccer in high school, and we liked you all right. We're going to put you in Madden. Like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like, I don't want to be all caring about this, but I am like, the whole idea about sports is that if it's in the game, it's in the game. He's not in the game. If you want to make him an announcer, you want to put him on like a commercial, you want to run a Nike banner, run the Nike banner. I don't care. But he's not in the game.
Does it make you less likely to want to buy the game for your 14 and 12-year-old?
Screw the kids. They're not getting it. And I'm going to tell my husband, who's got the PS4 account, who they have to, like, go to download or whatever. Like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, if they want it, then they can go mow a bunch of yards, they can go do a bunch of stuff, and they can waste their money. Like, I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what the deal is, but this is sending me over the edge this morning.
Thank you for the call. Thank you for being a VIP too, Lauren. I got to tell you, I mean, I don't want to buy it for my kids. Ordinarily, I'm like, hey, you want to buy Madden? That's kind of fun. Let's see what the teams are going to be ranked. Let's see what the players are going to be ranked. I don't want to do it. Maybe the kids are going to be able to persuade me, but this decision by Madden makes me less likely to buy the video game. And they've never made any decision before that's made me less likely to buy the video game. And I have to think the vast majority of parents are in agreement with me. Like, not only is it dishonest to put him in the game, but to put him above half of the starters in the NFL is absolute insanity, particularly because their marketing and selling point is how honest their ratings are. Oh, we're valuing all the players the best way we possibly can, except for Colin Kaepernick, who suddenly is better than half the starters in the NFL, despite the fact that he's never played in the last 4 years. I mean, it's absolute insanity. We got a bunch of people who want to weigh in. Who should we go to next, Dub?
We got Jose in Fremont.
Jose, what do you think?
What's up, fellas? Hey, Clay, check this out. I buy 4 copies every year. I buy 2 deluxe copies for my sons and I buy the other ones as early Christmas gifts for my brothers and my nephews. Now, I'm not going to buy any of those at all because I'll tell you what, that's another escape that we use to get away from everything. And now you're trying to do this propaganda. We're not tripping on Derek Carr because Derek Carr is always being disrespected like this. I'm a huge Raider fan. And another thing, let me ask you a question. Just because I'm willing to shut those things off and not watch the Dodgers or basketball because I'm tired of all the politics, Roberto, how does that make me not a sports fan? You said I wasn't a sports fan last week because I'm willing to change the channel because I don't want to hear the propaganda.
Yeah,
how's that not me being a sports fan?
You're not really a sports fan. If that bothers you that much and you're not going to watch sports because of it, you're not really a sports fan in my eyes.
I disagree. I think thanks for the call, Jose.
If you're that triggered, you're not really a sports fan. I'm sorry.
I disagree. I think everybody has a line where they won't cross because it bothers them enough that they're like, I mean, and I'll give you an example. If I like Marvel movies, right? Take it completely out of the world of sports. If in order to watch every Marvel movie, I had to watch Tony Stark come out and for 5 minutes he lectured me on his favorite political causes before every Marvel movie started, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to go to the movie theater and watch the newest Marvel movie. And it could be, any of the characters, right? They're all superheroes, but before the movie starts, Spider-Man comes out and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you for the next 5 minutes about things that I care about politically before you watch me play Spider-Man. I'd be like, yeah, sorry, bud. I'm not going to pay my money to go sit down in front of an IMAX theater and watch you lecture me for 5 minutes about whatever political causes you care about. I'll watch the movie. I'm paying for the movie. I'm interested, but I don't care about your politics at all. And I think there are a lot of sports fans that are basically on that position. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't like the Marvel movies. Doesn't mean that I don't like sports, but I'm not buying your lecturing me on sports as the lead-in for that. Do we still have people who want to weigh in on Kaepernick, or should I go to break?
We got a few guys. It's up to you.
Let's go to them quick here, really quick.
We got Matt in North Carolina.
Matt, what you got for me?
So you can look up all of the Madden ratings, the past ones, online. And I was skeptical when I first heard you talking about it this morning. But you look it up. The last time he was in Madden was in 2016 in Madden 17. He was a 74. So he takes this many years off, and now he's an 81. Thanks for.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's what I said. For those of you who don't know, Colin Kaepernick, they put him in the Madden video game, even though he's not playing, and they rated him better than half of the starters in the NFL, including Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, and Jared Goff. He's the same rating as future NFL Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger. It's crazy. Who's up next?
We got Kenneth in Pasadena.
Kenneth, what you got for me?
Hey, good morning. I was calling as far as the Kaepernick situation to say, man, you guys are acting like he's Adolf Hitler or something. The way, I will buy it for my kids because he's on there. He gave up his career. Come on, Clay, have a heart, man. Dang.
He gave up his career and he makes more money to not play. I'll give up my career Kenneth. If you tell me right now, Clay Travis, you have to give up your radio career, but you're going to make way more money than you do by doing radio, I'll give up my radio career. Would that make me a hero?
Okay, but do you believe he knew at the time when his career was taken from him that he
his career wasn't taken? No, his career. Stop. I don't want to have the argument about Colin Kaepernick. Thanks for the call. Look, the reason why he doesn't have a career is because he sucks at football, and he decided to make a political statement while sucking at football. If Aaron Rodgers had wanted to come out and take a knee to support ISIS, he would still be playing in the NFL because he's Aaron freaking Rodgers. If Patrick Mahomes tomorrow decided to take a knee, and he took a knee because he said, I don't believe gay marriage should be legal, he would still be playing in the NFL. Or if he took a knee because he doesn't believe that abortion should be legal, or if he took a knee because he believes that polygamy should be legal and it isn't right now, he would still be playing in the NFL because his talent exceeds the distraction and the problems that he creates. Colin Kaepernick got beaten out by Blaine Gabbert. Is Blaine Gabbert still in the league? The dude got more money not to play than he ever would have to play. And oh, by the way, I don't think he wants to play. He wants to be a martyr. And again, the point is, Madden ostensibly rates every player as honestly as they possibly can based on their football ability. Nothing else matters in the Madden game. Your football ability. And yet they're going to argue that a guy who hasn't played in 4 years is better than half the starters in the NFL? It's lunacy. And as a result, yeah, I'm not going to buy the video game for my kids. Who's up next? Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, one more. We got Andrea in Ohio.
Andrea, what you got?
Hi. So I have 3 boys, and, they play a little bit of video games. They're a little bit older than yours, Clay. And the extent of my knowledge of Madden just sort of comes from them, which isn't much. They don't talk much about it. But I was thinking that, you were talking about the, I just feel like even if they're losing people, they feel like they are gaining more through the sort of indoctrination of the kids who are watching, who are playing it. Because most parents, unless they're listening to your show, have no clue about
That's right.
this.
That's right. Well, thanks for the call. And that's why I'm saying it's propaganda. It is inauthentic, dishonest propaganda. The idea that he is in any way better than Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, or Jared Goff is pure lunacy. And if your argument is the game is as accurate as it could possibly be, that's fundamentally dishonest. What you are doing is propagandizing using your game as a method to do that. And as a result, you're not going to get my $60. I've probably bought Madden for my boys. They're 12, 9, and 5, probably the last 5 or 6 years. That's $300 that I've given them to EA Sports. I'm not paying for it this year. Just not going to do it because they're propagandizing and I'm choosing not to give them my money. And that's how markets work. And I don't understand how businesses are making these decisions that are alienating customers time after time after time.